the board, Orlando Documents for the record. The item before you is the approval for, I'd like to correct something for the record on the agenda. It said Grand Central Partners, it's Grand Station Partners LLC. So I'd just like to correct that for the record. So the item before you is the approval of the ground lease between Grand Station Partners LLC, which was the selected respondent to our request for proposals for joint partnership or joint venture partnership for the redevelopment of Parcel B adjacent to the garage. That was approved by this board several months ago, and this is the agreement that has been negotiated between our staff and the principals of that firm. In general, the terms of the agreement call for a 99-year ground lease with the possible option of an additional 50 years. The base ground rate, base rent will be $240,000 per year, with the contemplation of a 10% increase every 5 years beyond that. The respondent will be depositing $750,000 within 3 days of the execution of this agreement, of course, if approved by the board, of which within 6 months, which is the due diligence period, $250,000 of that becomes hard, and we keep as they move along through the approval process of the project. The project focus contemplates that there'll be about 6 levels of additional parking for an estimated 355 spaces. Those spaces will be built at no cost for MPA, and these spaces will be owned unencumbered and fee simple by MPA for the duration of this agreement. In other words, there are spaces, the revenue generated from the spaces is ours, there's no sharing, and the land and the dirt on this project stays MPA's moving forward. The construction period construction must commence within 20 months of the effective date of this agreement, and they must obtain TCO 36 months beyond the commencement of their construction. And at the request of one of our board members, I'm just going to give a little synopsis of some of the numbers as it relates to this agreement and how we negotiated it. In order for us to arrive at what would be a fair annual rent payment for the ground lease, what is usually done in that kind of negotiation is you assign a value to the land, and then you apply what is called the cap rate, which is an assumed rate of return on that value. The assigned land value for that property for this exercise was $11,200,000, and we arrived at that number by reaching out to a real estate consultant that does commercial transactions in the CBD very often. And he gave both myself, Art, and other members of staff a level of comfort that as land is being transacted right now, a value of about $400 a square foot for the land was a good number to use. And we applied that to the size of the property to arrive at that number. So having done that is how we were able to calculate and negotiate to get to the $240,000 a year. So if we have that as a backdrop, and we contemplate the fact that we, as I've already stated, we're getting a $750,000 initial deposit or payment from the developer. They're building us about 355 spaces based on our experience, construction costs currently, and factoring in some soft costs, for the cost of engineering, architecture, etc. The value of that construction to us represents about $9.4 million. So just between the spaces and the upfront payment, there's a value of about $10,150,000. So you can see that that in and of itself is almost what the value of the land is right now. Beyond that, if we factor in that because of the nature of the project that's being built, which doesn't require any parking at all, and all those spaces, like I said, are built for our benefit and other revenues come to us, we then also did a present value calculation for the additional revenue streams that we'll be obtaining. One being from the additional income from parking that will be generated by those 355 spaces. With the help of operations, we were able to determine what we think is a conservative number that will be generating once those spaces are built, as well as a present value for the future payments we'll be getting from the ground lease. So doing a present value calculation for our expected additional income from the spaces, that has a present value of about an additional $20 million, and the ground lease has a present value of about another additional $4 million. So if we add up all the numbers, the the initial $750,000, the value of the construction, and the present value of the additional revenue streams. This project has a present value to our agency of about $34 million. Having said that, we are asking that the board approve the grants.
Open it up for discussion. Any questions?
Are there any questions for me?
Any questions for Joel or Ryan?
I'll move the item.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Quick question,
Are there-
all the two proposals that were received, Rory, do you have any backup to those? Any details on those two proposals, or?
Well, I mean, we have these proposals that if anybody wanted to see them, we could present them. The matter of the selection of the proposals and of the respondent, that was settled months ago, and, you know, discussion with regards to that was had. So, if there's a specific question, if I don't have it with me, I could definitely look at it for you.
Before we vote on the item, I know that there's some people from the folks that were selected and then the folks that were not. So what I'd like to do is give you 5 minutes to each side, and then we'll open it up for questions for them if they're interested in that, and then we'll take the vote.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir. State your name.